We will reconvene this meeting. I will remind board members to please be on time, particularly those who are seeking appointment as a cabinet member within the administration of our mayor, who sits to my left, as he comes before the city council for confirmation.
Point taken, sir.
Thank you. This September 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. The board continues to meet in a hybrid format. For those here in person, please take a moment to silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. For those attending virtually, if you desire an opportunity to speak, we ask that you please keep yourself on mute until the chair recognizes you. When you're called upon, please announce your name and organization and speak loudly and clearly as you present. At this time, I would ask our clerk, Celeste Amato, for any corrections, additions, and noted abstentions for today's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, everyone. This morning, we do have a few walk-ons to note, and bear with me because the background explanation for these will be helpful for the public's understanding. The first item that is being walked on this morning is SB 2513252. This is a real property transfer agreement, public school property, Martin Luther King Jr. PK through 8 for $397,569.99. This request is for the approval of public school property transfer agreement between the State of Maryland Interagency Commission on School Construction and the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. PK to 8 school building. The Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners has determined that the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. PK to 8 number 254, consisting of a 2.32 acre site and buildings located at 3750 Green Spring Avenue, Baltimore 21211, will no longer be operated by the Baltimore City Public School System and should be transferred to the Baltimore City government pursuant to Section 4-115 Education Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland. On May 14th, 2020, the Interagency Commission on School Construction approved the closure and transfer of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. property to the Baltimore City government. As a condition of the approval of transfer pursuant to Section 5-308 of the Education Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the state has required that the city assume the balance of unpaid bond debt service in the amount of $397,569.99. Next is SB 2513253, real property transfer agreement, public school property, Grove Park PK to 8 for $2,832,134.33. This request is for the approval of public school property transfer agreement between the State of Maryland Interagency Commission on School Construction and the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore for Grove Park PK through 8 school building. The City School Board has determined that Grove Park, consisting of a 5.17 acre site and building located at 5545 Kennison Avenue, Baltimore 21215, will no longer be operated by the Baltimore City Public School System and should be transferred to the Baltimore City government. As a condition of the approval of transfer pursuant to Section 5-308 of the Education Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the state has required that the city assume the balance of unpaid bond debt service in the amount of $2,832,134.33. And the final walk-on this morning is SB 2513255, real property transfer agreement, public school property, Samuel F.B. Morse Elementary for $89,874.00. Again, this request is for approval of the public school property transfer agreement between the State of Maryland Interagency Commission on School Construction and the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore for Samuel F.B. Morse Elementary School building. The Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners has determined that the Samuel F.B. Morse Elementary School, consisting of a 1.36 acre site and buildings located at 424-426 South Pulaski Street, Baltimore 21223, is no longer needed for school purposes. As a condition of the approval of transfer pursuant to Section 5-308 of the Education Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the state is required that the city assume the balance of unpaid bond debt service in the amount of $89,874. We have the following deferrals to note this morning. SB 25-12791, Department of General Services, extra work order number 3 with McLean Contracting Company for GS 21826 Fort McHenry Fire Pier renovations. This item has been deferred until October 1st, 2025, at the request of the Comptroller. SB 2513039, Police Department Employee Travel Request for Kevin Jones. This item has been deferred to September 17th, 2025, at the request of the agency. SB 2512889, Procurement Amendment Managed Services for 800 megahertz facilities. This item has been deferred until September 17th, 2025, at the request of the agency. SB 2512910, Procurement Renewal, SCON 002177, Armed Security Guard Services Agreement. This item has been deferred until September 17th, 2025, at the request of the agency. We have one withdrawal this morning, SB 2512337, Mayor's Office of Employment Development, Second Amendment to Agreement Helping Other People Through Empowerment, Inc. This item was withdrawn at the request of the agency. We have no protests or statements to note this morning. We have 3 items on the non-routine agenda, and those were our walk-ons, SB 25-13252, SB 25-13253, and SB 25-13255. We have the following abstentions to note this morning. The Honorable Mayor Brandon M. Scott is abstaining on SB 25-12674, Health Department Provider Agreement, the Johns Hopkins University, and SB 25-12858, Health Department Provider Agreement, the Johns Hopkins University. The Honorable President Zeke Cohen is abstaining on SB 25-12604, DPW, Subgrant Agreement, South Baltimore Gateway Community Impact District Management Authority, doing business as South Baltimore Gateway Partnership for $10,800,000. The Honorable Comptroller Bill Henry is abstaining on all travel requests and travel reimbursements. City Solicitor Ebony Thompson is abstaining on SB 25-13042, Department of Law Employee Travel Request. And the Acting Director of Public Works, Matthew Garbark, has no abstentions to note this morning. There are also no votes on the non-routine agenda to note this morning. And that concludes our opening statement. Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I ask for a motion to approve and adopt the opening statement as read by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The opening statement has been adopted. I want to recognize my colleague, Councilmember Ramos, who has joined us. Thank you for being here. I want to also thank the acting DPW director for normally being extremely prompt in all of his doings. And at this point, I will stop picking on him. I now direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from my office dated August 29th, 2025, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items together with any corrections, additions, abstentions, and no votes that have been noted by the clerk. I'll entertain a motion to approve all the items contained on the routine agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The routine agenda items have been adopted. Seeing no further questions, we will now move to the non-routine agenda item, which is made up of 3 separate walk-ons. The non-routine agenda items today are all substantially similar, and so I will call them all together for one discussion and then call for their individual vote at the conclusion. These items are requests from the Department of Finance to approve public school property transfer agreements between the State of Maryland Interagency Commission on School Construction, ICSC, and the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore. These items set a sales price for the following buildings: SB 25-13252, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pre-K through 8 school for $397,569.99. SB 25-13255, Samuel F.B. Morse for $89,874. And SB 25-13253, Grove Park Pre-K through 8 school for $2,832,134.33. Period of agreement is based on board approval. On behalf of the Department of Finance, we have Director Moxton, Director Moxton, the floor is yours.
Good morning, honorable members. My name is Director Moxton from the Department of Finance. By way of background, state law education section 4115 requires that school buildings that are surplus, that is no longer in use, must be transferred to local county government. State law section 5308 also requires that local governments reimburse the state for any outstanding debt for a surplus school that is no longer being used for school purposes. Historically, both of these requirements were satisfied by a BOE letter acknowledging the transfer of a surplus school plus documentation of any outstanding debt on the surplus school. Upon passage, the city would make a one-time payment to satisfy the outstanding amount due. As part of the 21st Century Schools program, the city anticipated that it would inherit a large number of surplus schools, and some would require payment of outstanding debt. Per our records, since 2010, the city's been asked to pay off outstanding debt on 20 schools thus far at a total cost of $10.3 million, including the current items. So a few things have happened more recently. One of those is the passage of legislation in the most recent session that creates a 5-year window that allows us essentially time to review and take stock of the transfers that occurred. And that already gives us a little bit of breathing room. But what's basically happened is there were a lot of transfers that happened as part of 21st Century Schools, and we were a little bit behind. So some of the transfers that happened were outside of that 5-year window. What then further happened this summer is the Maryland IAC, the Interagency Commission on School Construction, began putting a lot of pressure on the schools and the city to catch up. That pressure mounted, and this summer they began issuing what essentially amounts to stop work orders on school construction that has created the urgency that's required us to bring this before you today. We have reconciled what's been paid and what hasn't been paid. What we've found is that there are agreements in place for some of the payments that we need to make, but not others. There are these 3 agreements for schools that were transferred over 5 years ago. That means not covered by the recent legislation. And these 3 agreements are necessary for us to make payments that are required under the law. And these payments are required by the IAC to release the holds that at this point are holding up projects that are live for city schools. It's my understanding from city schools that these projects have become extremely urgent, and that's the reason for the walk-on. The facts are substantially similar around all 3 items.
Thank you, Mr. Moxton. Questions from the board? I see Comptroller Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning. Yeah, this is technically not a question. I've had extensive conversations with the mayor's office and with finance yesterday, and I think we're all on the same page for this. I wanted to add to the backstory that the director provided by reminding people that the reason that we have to do this in the first place is part of a negotiation around the creation of the 21st Century Schools program at this point, I think 12 years ago. And again, to place this in context, back in the era around 2013, the city was not putting as much money into the annual operations of schools as we are doing now, especially after the implementation of the blueprint and the other agreements coming out of the Kirwan Commission. It probably seemed like a reasonable deal back in 2013 that, and there's two parts to it. It's not just that we have to pay off the outstanding school bond debt for any school that's been closed and transferred back to the city. There's also the fact that the 21st Century Schools program itself requires the school system to close a significant number of schools in order to get the state money to help refurbish or rebuild the ones that are being done as 21st century schools. So it required that the city commit to a big chunk of potential payments at a time when it was thought, well, this is reasonable because they're not putting as much as the state would like us to put into the operating costs each year. That situation has changed, and the city is now strained by the mandates of the blueprint, and that is causing its own separate budgetary problems for the city. So I want to take this opportunity to thank our partners in the General Assembly who did the legislation last term to create the 5-year gap from what had previously been a 2-year, specifically to give us time to try to renegotiate that deal. Because I think it's very reasonable that we should go back to the state and make the, I think, compelling case that the city is already paying much more than it used to. And these bond funds, the state has already budgeted to pay them. Like it's already in the state's budget to pay the debt service. They're just, I mean, I know that the state is also in the position of looking for change in the sofa cushions right now, but this is one where the people of Baltimore have extraordinary needs. And so I appreciate the work that finance is doing, and I appreciate the mayor's office willingness to help us find a way to renegotiate something with the state. This is about $3 million of, I think, an $8 million set of outstanding transfers. Is that, yeah. And so I'm really hopeful that we can find a way to work something out with our state partners so that we can keep that other $4 to $5 million for needs that we have right here in Baltimore City. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Comptroller. Just good history. So all this with the bonding out, did this all start with the bottle tax? Is that?
The bottle, I'm sorry.
Directed to you, Mr. Comptroller, or the mayor.
I'm trying to get better at waiting for you to recognize me before I speak.
Mr. Comptroller.
Yes, the bottle tax was part of the same deal. The bottle tax funds the city's contribution to the capital commitment that makes up the 21st century school plan.
Great. I remember advocating for it with a bunch of students and coming to this gentleman's office,
Yeah,
this gentleman's office.
I remember that too.
Indeed. And here we are now. Thank you very much, Madam Solicitor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Comptroller, for that really good historical overview, and Director, that's very helpful. I just wanted to know how many more schools are outside of this gap that was created by a General Assembly of the 5 years. Is it just these three, or? Yeah. Is it just these three, or is it more? Yeah, that don't fall within that cushion that they gave us.
Meaning how many are older than 5?
Yeah, because you're saying this one fell out, it's not within that 5 years, so do we have more that are coming?
This will let us catch up. These are the schools that are missing agreements that are older than 5 years.
Got it, and these are all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you, Madam Solicitor. Why was this on non-routine? Why was this a walk-on today?
We've been working to essentially do research on this and reconcile some of these old agreements, figure out where we had an agreement, where we didn't have an agreement, because some of these go back many years, and also where we had the money budgeted. The decision by the IAC to tie this to live contracts put an incredible amount of urgency on the ground for our partners at City Schools and obviously for our citizens who rely on these schools being built on time. And so because of that, even a couple of weeks has a huge impact.
Understood. So at the request of City Schools, we wanted to move expeditiously to, okay. Other questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve this item.
So moved.
Second.
All those, it has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. This item is approved. I'm now going to go one by one. Do I have a motion for SB 2513252, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pre-K 8 School for $569.99?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor of approving this item say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The item is approved. Do I have a motion for SB 2513255, Samuel F.B. Morse for $89,874?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving this item say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. This item is approved. Do I have a motion for SB 25, hang on, Mr.
I have a different value for that one, but I might, it's possible mine's wrong. For Samuel F.B. Morris.
Mr. Comptroller, if you want to
Yeah,
turn
we're
your,
trying to- What number do you have, but what's the value?
89,000.
Okay, then mine's wrong. Okay, that's right. Okay.
okay. Do I have a motion for SB 2513253, Grove Park, Pre-K through 8, School for $2,832,134.33?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving this item say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The item is approved. As there is no more business before the board, we will now adjourn this meeting. The next regular meeting of the Board of Estimates will occur on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. sharp. I thank everyone for participating and tuning in.
Mr. Mayor.
Hi, TV 25, we are ready to go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Estimates bid opening for September 3rd, 2025. We do have one addenda to share this afternoon, and that is Recreation and Parks, RP 24810, Northwest Park, Upper Park Improvements. The new opening date for that bid is 9/17/2025. Today, we have 4 openings of various kinds, and up first, we have for the Department of Public Works, SC 995W, Westport Sewage Pumping Station Upgrades. This looks like a capital, so
This
it
is
would
capital.
probably have a bond. I'm
Yep, it
thinking.
should have a bond column.
I don't have a bond column, but I am inserting one. Okay.
Cool. Okie dokie. We have one bid received from WM Slosher Inc. In front of me, I have one original and one duplicate. I think this is a duplicate.
Are we doing flash drives?
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
No flash drives for capital.
Okay.
Super. Okay, so I have a bid bond. And
Do you see a total or do you see itemized?
let me work my way there.
Okay, I know what that's for.
Yep, total.
What page, please?
89.
Thank
Where does it say total? I found the total. I'm just pointing
okay.
out. This is not the total because it doesn't say total.
Okay. And I also see a bond.
Yep. Okie dokie. Let me get page. All right, 89. Page 89. I'm gonna read you the total. $5,288,000.00.
Okay, that number was 5,288,000.00.
That is correct.
And did we say Schlosser is our only bidder?
Yes.
Okay. So that bidder was WM Schlosser Company, Inc. for $5,288,000.00.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tawanda.
All right. Oh, sorry. Line.
Up next, we have for Public Works. Up next for Public Works, we have SC 1043, rehabilitation and improvements to sanitary sewers at various locations in Baltimore City.
Great. Okay. The first.
This also sounds like a bond situation.
Yes, this should have a bond, and it won't have a flash drive.
Okay. Okay.
It shouldn't say flash drive. It should say bond. Okay, so the first one is from Anchor Construction Corporation. I'm gonna hand you the duplicate.
Thank you. Okay, I see a bond.
Okay, you're reading ahead.
Sorry. Well, you tried to read my lines, so.
Okay, I have a bid bond. And the total bid is $20,292,723.
That number was 20,292,723.00.
That's correct.
So that bidder was Anchor Construction Corporation for $20,292,723.00.
Great. And that was for SC 1043. Alrighty. Okay, the next one is from Spinello Companies. I'm going to hand you the duplicate.
Thanks.
All right, they have a signed bid bond. And the total bid amount is $18,633,000.00.
That number was 18,633,000.00.
That's correct.
Okay, that bidder was Spinello, and the bid amount was $18,633,000.00. Thanks, Tawanda. And that was our final of two bidders. Yes?
Yes.
For SC 1043, rehabilitation and improvements to sanitary sewers at various locations in Baltimore City. Up next, for the Bureau of Procurement, we have RFQ 728, supply and delivery storm drain inlet heads with galvanized face bar, and this is a rebid,
And we've received no bids.
and we have no bids. So we have no bids received for RFQ 728, supply and delivery storm drain inlet heads with galvanized face bar. Up next, for the Bureau of Procurement, we have RFQ 724. This is for internet services providers for HABC locations. This is a Part B, which means today we are opening the pricing. We have opened qualifications in the past. We had three bidders originally, and I will name all three. which were Greenlight Networks, Port Networks Incorporated, and Digital C. We will be opening 2 of the Part Bs today. Digital C is not being opened per the Bureau of Procurement. So up first,
First is from Greenlight Networks for RFQ 00724. And the total amount, so total extended bid price is 3,327,647 decimal point 59.
okay, that bid amount, the bidder is Greenlight Networks, and the bid amount was $3,327,647.59.
Correct.
And we just get one of those, right?
We
There's
get-
no dupe.
There's one duplicate,
Oh, okay, thank you.
and, yeah, there's one duplicate. Those right there.
And I believe we have one other Part B for this
And
one.
there's one other from Port Networks, and for this one, I have one original, one duplicate, one flash drive.
Do we have a flash drive for the other one?
I didn't see one.
Okay,
Is there a flash drive? Yes. Okay, sorry, there was one on front.
got it. Just wanted to capture that. Okay.
Cool. So for Port Networks, the total bid price is 988, 080.
.00?
Yes,
Okay, that number was 988,080.
correct.
That bidder was Port Networks Incorporated for $988,080.00. And that was our final of 2 Part Bs for RFQ 000724, Internet Services Provider for HABC locations. And that was our final opening for today. Up next will be our bid opening on September 17th, 2025, at noon, as always. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, TV 25.